Hello, very pleasant. Good evening. It's time for Startup Talk right here on WPSL 1590, Talk of the Treasure Coast, and WSTU 1450, Martin County's Heritage Station. And the host of the show is Mr. Tom Kindred.
Thank you, sir, and good evening, Greg. And I want to welcome everyone to another segment and installment of Startup Talk, the show designed to assist and help Treasure and Research Coast residents who want to start, grow, or accelerate their business. And as I always say, what a great place it is to own and operate a business along the beautiful Research and Treasure Coast. We will spend time during our hour together this evening to highlight and create awareness regarding the very powerful and robust business assistance and support programs which exist right here in our community at our very own Indian River State College. I am Tom Kindred, and I serve the community as the Regional Director for the Small Business Development Center at Indian River State College. Our show today, as always, is powered by the SBDC and IRSC and the great folks and our good friends at Express Printing of Port St. Lucie. So, Greg, how are you this evening?
Doing well.
Good. I guess all the sports we can talk about this evening are summer camps. Lots of camps. I saw. It looked like to me to be some young people on the baseball field at IRSC. So I guess we got a baseball camp going on. I think we had. Was it you that told me had kind of a record turnout for the basketball?
Yeah,
camp
basketball camps did very well with Charlie
good.
Wilson. Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah.
Any good prospects at the camp? Who knows?
Well, hopefully he signed a good 7-year-old that they can kind of groom at IRSC.
That's right. Well, we got to, we can grow them up here.
Did you hear that the University of Southern California, this is a serious story,
right,
signed a 13-year-old quarterback from an Orange County Catholic high school? He's a freshman in high school. USC has already signed him.
What kind of height and weight and size is this kid?
He's a phenom, apparently. I
Unbelievable.
I don't know.
Well, speaking of phenoms,
yep,
we have Bob O'Brien with us tonight.
Hey,
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Speaking of baseball,
that was a great segue. Baseball phenom.
I saw an
Bob
8th
O'Brien.
grader throw a pitch 89 miles an hour the other day. So University of Florida's already on him.
Wait a minute, back up. What?
Yeah, there's an
eighth grader.
8th grader here in Fort Pierce that touched 89 miles an hour at a tournament last weekend, and he's going to be highly sought after. And but that's how they do it. They're at that age, they're looking for size mostly, and if they continue to grow at the pace they're doing and develop at the pace they're doing, they're going to be good. And there are some colleges now that are getting verbal commitments out of these people.
Sure.
Just saying, we'd love for you to come here. And so, and a couple years ago, the women's basketball coach, back in the day, she had a son that would come to camp and was just better than anybody else. He was playing 3 or 4 ages up. And
wow.
Coach Montgomery.
Uh-huh.
Her son was head and shoulders, no pun
Wow.
intended, bigger and better than everybody at the basketball camp at the college. So, sure, you can see how good people are. LeBron stood out as a high school sophomore, freshman.
Phenoms, yeah.
Right.
And so, you can see it. There's some rare ones out there.
Well, and just the other day I was reading in TC Palm, this kid that we saw several times pitch against various St. Lucie County high schools, signed with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Bray,
yeah, in the draft last week. So yeah,
he only got about $800,000. That's all.
That's more than Tom's seen his entire life.
That's right. $800,000. Let's see.
Oh,
I think I've lost that much. I think.
Well, we do that in a few weeks.
That's right.
That's nothing.
See, Bray was just the opposite. Bray played on our travel team years ago, and he was an average ball player back in the day, and his development came a little later in his career, which is usually how you want to do it. You don't want to be that 8th grade phenom because you may not grow anymore, and you may stop developing, and we see kids catch those kids sometimes late in the career. So
that was my story. I was 7th grade phenom that never made it to 8th grade.
Yeah. I like that. Maybe I can use that one. And I want to thank everybody for joining us for Sports Talk here.
That's great, yes.
So let's see. Well, our mission is on this show to talk about business and entrepreneurship. All right. So we're going to thank you for the sports update. And I've let the cat out of the bag. We are, as always, fortunate to have with us tonight. Actually, my two favorite guests, but one's only been on one time so far, but I'm sure she'll turn out to be my favorite guest. We've got with us tonight Mr. Bob O'Brien of the Corporate and Community Training Institute at Indian River State College, and we have the newest member of the CCTI at IRSC team, Miss Susie Kline, is with us tonight. So welcome, Bob.
Thank you.
Welcome, Susie.
Thank you.
She is definitely the rose between two thorns.
Yes. Go tune in to WPSL Ustream, and you can see us. Bob and I, yes, we, Susan is in between us, so it looks good tonight. So anyway, I have again brought CCTI. The college works on a calendar year, and the college is bringing to a close another great year of operations. And so I wanted to bring CCTI on the show tonight as they begin to kick off a new year, talk about some great programs that they ran last year, training programs, talk about some great new programs that are in the works for the coming year. So it's a great time to talk CCTI at IRSC and talk about training. So that's what we're going to do tonight, and happy to always have CCTI on the program with us. So with that, I'll take just a couple of minutes, update everyone on a couple of upcoming trainings. Greg, you asked me when we got in the studio this evening how things were going with the manufacturing program, because, of course, the last couple of weeks we've been talking about the manufacturing program. God, what a great show. Had Paradigm Precision, had the operations manager from Paradigm, great guy. And their machining supervisor down there. Great program, and I'm happy to report that the program is beginning to fill up quickly. So there is a daytime program beginning in Martin County in July. That program is filling up very quickly, and then we have a nighttime version of that manufacturing program beginning in August, and that is beginning to fill up. So if you are an individual looking to get involved in manufacturing as a career, if you are a veteran specifically, this is a great program. So I would encourage you to contact us at Indian River State College. You can check more on the manufacturing program at the irscbiz.com site. But great program, and Greg, we appreciate the support of WPSL and WSTU on this program, because the word is getting out, and that's a good thing.
That's very good. Yeah, glad we could help.
Yep, and the got a unique program coming up. You're going to like this one, Greg. The SBA, who we've had Lonnie on the show a couple of times. Lonnie, who is the director for the SBA in our region. They have got what they call the Encore Entrepreneurs Program. So if you're wondering how to leverage your career experience to become, a business owner, job creator, are you among the 63% of Americans who plan to work during retirement? Greg, I think that's you and I. That's right.
Notice you're looking at me there.
Greg, you're living out your retirement years here at WPSL. That's right.
I was going to say, I've spent 6 of them here.
So join the U.S. Small Business Administration, SCORE, and the SBDC for an event designed to give you real-world actionable information so that you can pursue entrepreneurship and self-employment. So really a program designed to talk to some older folks that want to get involved in owning their own business, start a business, have an idea for a business. So great program.
So is there an age ceiling on that? Because I'm going to be 71. I just curious.
No. It's very interesting. We met yesterday with a gentleman at the college. I believe he told us he was in his 80s, and he brought to us some nice ideas yesterday at the college. So
cool.
No age limit. Encore Entrepreneur is going to take place Saturday, July the 9th from 9:30 to 11. You can get more information on that again and register for that event at the irscbiz.com site. And then finally, one of our standard offerings, Understanding Florida Sales Tax and Use Tax, which I always stress is important. Workshop is designed for just about anyone interested in gaining a better understanding of Florida's sales tax. That's going to take place on July the 13th, 5:30 in the evening, and that will take place down in Hope Sound. So again, as always, you can get more information on all those training programs at the www.irscbiz.com site. And as I always say, back when I was in business, had I taken the time to really understand and become engaged in the very powerful business assistance programs that are available at Indian River State College, I am confident that I could have been a better manager, owner, and operator. Dr. Massey and the Board of Trustees at Indian River State College have done a great job of building what I like to call a great one-stop shop for business assistance and support through what we call the Dan K. Richardson Entrepreneurship Development Institute. And under that institute are the Corporate and Community Training Institute, which we're going to talk to tonight. We've got the SBDC and the Business Incubation Program. So check all that out at irscbiz.com. And as always, a big thank you to SBDC and SCORE and the folks that provide all this great training out there for local businesses. So with that, I want to just take a quick minute to again reintroduce Susan Kline and Bob O'Brien from the IRSC Corporate and Community Training Institute. The CCTI, as we like to call it, provides high-quality professional and career training, which includes customized programs, continuing education for licensure and certification, webinars, and virtual online classes. All kinds of stuff going on at CCTI. I always tell folks that CCTI is probably one of the best kept secrets in our community. So with that, welcome again to the show. Susan, welcome.
Thank you.
And Bob, welcome back.
Thanks, Tom.
So let's start again, as we always do. Bob, give us the short version, because you've been around this space a long time. But kind of give us your pathway to Indian River State College. You've spent a number of years in this continuing ed space. So talk a little bit about your history.
I have. At the last community college I was at, which was Central Florida Community College in Ocala, I went from student activities director and switched over to the continuing education world. As a assistant baseball coach, they always need to find another position for you on campus because they just don't pay you enough to coach baseball. So we always had that second job, which a lot of times ended up being your first job, and then baseball kind of filled the gaps. So I started with the continuing education world with Dr. Don Bostic at Central Florida Community College, probably in 1995, and I was in charge of many of the programs there, including the insurance and real estate pre-licensing classes. I also did, we had a little different focus there as well, and we had a much bigger staff. We had 12 of us that were working in the continuing education department there. And so with that, we were able to cover a few more fields. Here at Indian River, we focus mostly on businesses.
Right.
But in Ocala, we had classes such as motorcycle training. I was in charge of motorcycle training, and we actually were able to give the motorcycle endorsement to the folks that passed our class. And it was a weekend course, Wednesday night, and then all day Friday and all day Saturday. And we provided the bikes, the helmets, the instruction, and the license. So I was in charge of that, as well as the driver's ed program. We had some private lesson driving school where people could call us and sign up for a 1-hour lesson, a 3-hour lesson. We'd actually take them to their driving test as well in our car.
Classes at Daytona, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, so those went over well. We also had if you happen to get a ticket, you could come to the college for your 3-hour class, your mandatory class that you needed to take. So those were all there as well. And then with that, we did continuing education in several different fields, contractors. We had one person alone was in charge of all the healthcare classes and the continuing education classes for healthcare. We had child care classes. We ran the whole gauntlet of it. So I gained my experience there, and then when moving to Fort Pierce and coming to Indian River State College, I joined the small business, what was it called back in the day? But Jan Pagano took over the program, and Victoria and I came in at the same year, and that was the birth of the CCTI, the Corporate and Community Training Institute. And that was probably about 11 years ago now.
Yeah.
So been in the CCTI ever since its inception, and the name changed.
So were those 12 people all at Central Florida, or were you combined with like Santa Fe and Gainesville?
No, that was just Central Florida Community College.
Wow.
In our continuing education department.
It's huge.
Yeah,
but since that, now they are down to a staff of one or two.
Okay.
So they have downsized the program. When the market flipped and the real estate stuff went away, it became harder for businesses to spend their money on training. They were just trying to run the business and keep the business afloat because of the market going down. So we took a hit, but we have persevered. The market has changed a little bit now, and things are going. And we trained, just this year, we trained over 3,000 employees on the Treasure Coast, over 4,000 hours of training. And
wow.
And we're very busy right now, and things are going well with the CCTI.
So with that, Susie, just give us just a quick, give us your history, pathway. You've spent a lot of time in business, the financial side of business. Give us your kind of your pathway into the CCTI.
Well, I come to this from a little bit of a different angle because I do come from the business world. I worked for a number of years as a financial advisor in the financial industry, where I had to develop my own client base and maintain that client base, and deal with the customers. Right. And learn a lot of customer service as well as the financial end of everything.
And so what's really nice about having somebody like you coming out of the kind of the business side of all this is you see the importance of training. And I'm sure did your former employees, was training a big issue with former employees with you?
Absolutely.
Right.
We were constantly being trained,
right.
And it made a huge difference. I could always take the information that I got back, and I always applied it, and I could see a difference in my business every time.
Right. So and that's what's nice. And again, that's what's nice again, and that's what makes it easy for me. I tell folks all the time, this is so easy for me to talk about these issues because having been out there, having had employees, having worked with people, having seen the corporate America side of things, I truly understand the importance of training and continuing ed for employees and team members. So that's great. I mean, you bring a great perspective, into the CCTI office here. So again, Bob, let's go back to let's go to CCTI itself. Just give us the the quick overview. What is CCTI? I mean, what is the purpose? What's the mission of the Corporate and Community Training Institute at Indian River State College?
Well, we provide high quality professional and career training for businesses and organizations throughout the Treasure Coast. We offer customized programs, continuing education for licensure and certification. We do webinars, virtual classes. This training can be done at their business anytime or at any one of our campuses throughout the Treasure Coast. So we deliver it in two different ways. We deliver it to the bigger companies with the customized corporate training and consulting, where they pick the date, the time, and the place, and we take the training to them. We need a decent number of employees to in order to do that, to take the training on the road. We also do the same great topics, and we pick the date, the time, and the place, and we offer that to the smaller business owner who doesn't have 12 employees that they can send at a time for training. Right. So we'll pick those same great topics. We'll schedule them out at one of our campuses and open it up to anybody to come, and we just need to fill those classes and meet our minimum needs for those classes to make.
Now, like you had said, you mentioned earlier, you talked about your history at is it Central Florida?
Central Florida.
Yeah, you talked about your history, and we've talked about that in the past. That you guys really did kind of all kinds of different training. not all business related, but the CCTI at Indian River State College is primarily focused on business training.
Yes.
Courses and licensures and continuing ed that really focuses on business
Yes.
issues.
Not only do we train your current employees, which is very important. We're going to discuss that more in a minute regarding turnover and what it takes to replace an employee. But we also offer classes that help people get licenses. So you can come to the college and you can take an insurance pre-licensing course and then go out and sell insurance. Of course, with a licensed insurance salesperson for a year, and then before you can go and get the license that you need to open your own. We also do the same thing for real estate. We do a personal fitness trainer certification course where you can take a class and become certified nationally. We've got some great instructors with that. We partner with the World Instructor Training Schools out of Wisconsin, so it's a nationwide certification. It's a great class. It's combined 2 hours in the classroom, 2 hours in the weight room every Saturday. And in fact, one of our instructors is a success story here in town. He owns a gym in Vero. He actually earned his personal fitness certification through our class, and now he's come back and he teaches the class. And it was just the other night I was flipping through the channels and I saw him featured on a TV show called Fit to Fat to Fit, and it was a great story about him putting on 45 pounds in 4 months so he could relate to the clientele that he was dealing with, and then he had to take off the 45 pounds over the next, I think it was 3 months. So it was a really cool show, and it really, hit home. But that's the kind of stuff that we offer through the college.
And again, too, just so people understand, too, really, the CCTI, we always refer to this kind of as the non-credit side of training. So our courses are not the typical textbook 16-week, Tuesday, Thursday, get 3 credit hours. Our training is designed to get people in quickly. Like you say, some of the training takes place over the weekends, those kind of things. So it's not textbook credit type training.
Exactly.
This is training designed to get you the skill set you need and then get you back into the workplace.
We have everything from 60-hour classes to 3-hour classes. So there's a wide range. It depends on the subject matter and what we're going after. So yes, and you do not have to fill out a college application, and you do not get college credit for it, which most of the people that are currently employed and have a job aren't really necessary or aren't interested in the college credit side of it.
This is training designed to get you in the training, acquire the skill set, and get you out. And we've also talked to before that, and you mentioned it, the personal trainer is a great example. I mean, a lot of the programs at CCTI, well, the manufacturing program too, there's a certification that comes out of that training. Personal fitness certification comes out of that. So a lot of the programs actually offer certifications, and a number of those certifications could and would allow an individual to basically go out and start their own business.
Exactly. One of our hottest topics right now is the medical coding. We have a course, Coding for Professional Services. We've got one of the best instructors in the state of Florida who is working for us, and Derry Bonner does a great job for us with that class. And at the end of this 44-hour class, you're able to sit and take the exam for several different types of coding certifications, and we are happy to say that we are getting ready to expand our medical coding world and create and offer a bunch of different classes that lead towards medical billing, medical coding, and all the different fields of coding that there is. So great class, great instructor. We've had a lot of success with it recently, and we're even going to expand more on that here in the near future. So
I've got an autographed picture of her, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, she's been she's a regular.
Yeah.
Derry does a great job, and like Bob says, medical coding, big issue. We've had some folks on to talk about medical coding. We had to, so it's a great program. And I guess we need to take a break here in a couple of minutes. But Bob, just like in 1 minute or less, let's quickly, let's just cover a couple highlights. I mean, you had a couple of big programs take place last year. I think you graduated a number of students out of the program. Talk about one of the highlights is the American Public Works Association certification program and the Public Works Institute that CCTI manages at the college. Talk briefly about that quickly before we take our break.
Yeah, the APWA stands for American Public Works Association. It's a program that was designed partly and mostly by Victoria, who was with us for several years, and she did a real good job. And they put together this program, and we've actually expanded it to help reach people throughout the state of Florida. But
it's designed for Public Works employees.
Public Works Institute. It's a model designed to address the supervisory and management needs of current first-line supervisors and up, and those individuals aspiring to be better leaders and supervisors. The APWA Public Works Institute at Indian River State College follows the national template and includes all core areas of study, addressing 60 specific topics in a 90-hour format.
And you graduated this year. It's 3 modules. Public Works employees go through those modules, facilitated and instructed by CCTI. And how many folks graduated this year out of the APWA program?
Oh, there were, just in the St. Pete program alone, we just graduated 24.
Okay.
We average between 18 and 22 people per session. So probably about, we're usually able to get one complete series in. So we graduate 40 to 50 APWA folks per year.
Okay.
And we've been doing this for several years, and it's a great program.
Yep.
And
Yep.
we do specialize with certain certain avenues, and the APWA is just one example of how we've put together some great training and help people advance in the workforce.
Okay. All right. With that, we're going to take a quick break and stay with us. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about the CCTI and all the business training opportunities right here along the Treasure Coast. This is Startup Talk.
Express Printing in Port St. Lucie is proud to present Startup Talk from Indian River State College. You see Express Printing in its new US 1 location in the Chris Plaza, just south of the Boulevard across from Walmart, is the one-stop shop for entrepreneurs throughout the Treasure Coast. Whether you're starting a business or building one, Express Printing can offer insight on how to separate you from your competition. Let Express Printing help you rebrand your business as well. The backbone of America is its entrepreneurial spirit, shared by Express Printing and Indian River State College. Express Printing in a newer and larger facility to assist entrepreneurs. Express Printing, 878-7975. That's 878-7975. Express Printing. Look for the red sign that says, "We come to you."
And we are back. This is Startup Talk. I am Tom Kindred with the Entrepreneurship Development Institute here at Indian River State College. And tonight our guests are Ms. Susan Kline and Mr. Bob O'Brien of the Corporate and Community Training Institute here at Indian River State College. The CCTI, as we call it, provides high-quality professional and career training, including customized program, continuing education for licensure and certification, webinars, and virtual classes. And as I always say, the CCTI, one of our best-kept secrets in our community for business training. So we've been talking about training. Bob's kind of given us an overview of the CCTI, what we do, highlighted one of the big programs that the CCTI is responsible for, the Public Works Institute. Graduated. I happened to be a part of that last year. Graduation of about 24 individuals out of the Public Works area that graduated out of that program at Indian River State College. So at this point, I want to turn to Susie and talk about what are kind of the top 10 training topics today that are out there in the workplace.
Well, actually, the starting point for training. Most of it is based on competency. And number one would be accountability and self-direction. And from the leadership down to the frontline employees. It's really a must for any organization to be successful. After that, go into business writing, and that's not just letters out to clients. It's also RFPs, it's planning documents, and most importantly these days, client emails.
I was going to say, emails has got to be in there.
Right, because every time an employee does any kind of communication like that, they're representing your organization.
Tweets.
Yeah. And so it really needs to be effective and efficient. They need to be both of those things with their writing skills and the whole process. Coaching and mentoring, it's learning the difference between those two and how exactly do you set the appropriate goals and give constructive feedback on an ongoing basis.
I'll stop right there to just talk a minute about the coaching and the mentoring aspect in business. Of course, I tell folks all the time, if it weren't for bad mentoring, I'd have had no mentoring at all. But, I learned something. It took really being involved in corporate America, but I learned the old saying that, coach in the moment. I really, that's so important because it's so important that we as managers and supervisors, when we see something that employees are doing that doesn't meet the expectations of the company, you have to stop right then. That's the time to coach and mentor and coach in the moment. So often people let things go in business and they say, well, I'll deal with it later, or you know what, it'll fix itself. And so often it doesn't. And so I think, it's nice to see that's in the top 10 training topics is that coaching and mentoring, because it is an important aspect for supervisors and managers to know how to coach and mentor.
Right.
It's a topic that comes up in the baseball world too, that kind of relates back to we've had this in coaching conferences before, is some coaches will wait until the game's over or the next practice to talk about what went wrong and why it went wrong. And I was never a believer in that. I wanted to do it now while it's still fresh. while the air just hurt, let's talk about what we did wrong, how we can make it better, because you know what? There's still more game to play, and we want to be able to make those adjustments before it snowballs into bigger and better
things. Well, that's
right.
So, and same thing in business.
Sure.
You've got to deal with it now. So anyway, great topic.
Another one is creativity and innovation. And whereas a lot of people think creativity is something that a person either has or doesn't have, the fact is that everyone is creative. They're just not creative in the same way. So organizations need team members to be able to see and think and learn and act in a new way to keep up with the constantly fluctuating economy and their environment. The biggest one probably is customer service.
Customer service.
And dealing
What's
with
that?
difficult people.
Or as Clark Howard used to say, customer no service.
Customer service and what did you say? Dealing with difficult people.
Dealing with difficult people.
Yeah.
And I think everyone can cite an example of really poor customer service.
Right.
It's very high-paced, high-stress work environment, and it takes a toll on everyone. But I think those people who are on the front lines in service-based businesses, they really take the impact of it. So if you're able to help them in interacting directly with the public, the external customers, the internal customers, vendors, suppliers, and other constituents, it helps you retain them, and it helps them feel more confident in their jobs. They learn with our classes, they learn the strategies for remaining calm, maintaining professionalism, and keeping their stress low. And that way it helps ensure that the team is able to provide world-class customer service, which gives
I can tell I never attended those classes.
And
remaining calm. No.
And Susie, you touched on a good point there too. I mean, training for employees helps build their confidence.
Right.
There's nothing probably worse than an employee who just isn't confident in what they're doing, isn't confident on the front line, isn't confident on your parts counter, on your service counter, on the phone. I mean, great point. Training, it's probably a great reason, if no other reason, to continue to conduct ongoing training. Keep building your employees' confidence.
Oh, sure.
It's hard to keep employees when they go home feeling beaten up every day.
Right. You're right. It's tough. All right.
There's also what is referred to as DISC training, and that's basically where you do the assessment tools that rate the behavior, the preferences, styles, attitudes and provides a framework for understanding the way in which you see the world, and just as importantly, the differing ways which others may approach the same set of facts or circumstances. I think some of the tests that they do for that sort of thing people might be familiar with.
Personality assessment, yeah.
Myers-Briggs.
In this day and age, some workplaces have 5 generations of people working there.
Right.
And,
well, I think we've talked before, Bob, isn't it?
Baby boomers.
And this is the first time in the history where we have the 5 generations or something, right?
Because generations used to be spread out a little bit farther than what they are now.
Well, we were all baby boomers there for a while, but
things that are changing so fast now. We've got Generation X, Generation Y, Generation Z, the millennials. Because generations are usually earmarked by an event that occurred during their time. So the baby boomers, we cover about a 20-year period, but Generation X and Y cover about a 3 or 4 year period. So each generation now, it's a shorter period of time between each. So yes, now there's an opportunity for 4 or 5 different generations to be in the workforce, and they are changing. The way people think and talk and do things has changed since the way we, us baby boomers, used to do things.
Yep.
So continue. We're
the next one would be emotional intelligence, or EQ. And I think what that refers to, most managers can relate horror stories about employees who were intelligent, they were technically capable, they were able to do their jobs really well, and they absolutely wreaked havoc in their workplaces because their social skills and self-management capability were lacking.
It happened once to me.
So what you do with these types of classes is learn how to deal with those sorts of issues. Also influence in negotiations, because that almost really kind of goes back to the customer service. You've got negotiations from the top down to the bottom.
And sales,
Absolutely.
Sales, right?
Absolutely. And a big one right now is mindfulness in the workplace. Because workplace stress has been cited in studies as a significant source of stress for American adults. And it really just appears to be escalating with each new decade. And it costs the U.S. industry an estimated $300 billion a year in sick days, turnover, lost productivity, insurance, legal, and medical costs. So mindfulness programs have become a very popular solution for workplace burnout. To help save on healthcare costs and increase productivity.
You said 300 billion?
With a B.
Whoa. Holy smokes.
And the final one is project management. Much of the project management in past years was geared towards those employees who were planning on becoming a project management professional, and now it's once again being brought to all different levels of the organization.
So again, sounds right, those top 10 topics when you've been out in business. I mean, that all makes sense. And I guess I ask the same question every time we've got CCTI on the show and we talk about training, but why is it important that a business provide that ongoing and consistent training? Bob mentioned it earlier too, as the economy, got a little tight and things got a little tough. It's natural for us to immediately pull away from the training and say, you know what, I've got to focus on running the business. We've got to obviously watch our expenses, and that's understandable. But training really is important for a lot of reasons. So why is it important that a business continue to provide training?
Well, to cite a statistic for you, and there's a lot of room for variation with different studies, but according to the U.S. Department of Labor and Statistics, turnover can cost an organization 33% of an employee's total compensation, including both salary and benefits. But the impact, it's not only financial, it affects more employee morale, it affects productivity. And if you look at 5 of the top 10 reasons why people leave an organization, it can be alleviated with corporate training.
Right. And again, when we teach in there's an intro to management class and that I've taught in the past, and we always talk about some of the reasons now why people work. Well, again, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, again, it was simple. We worked for the pay, we were motivated by the pay. But in But in today's world, when they do those surveys and they look at why people work, pay's certainly not in the top 5 sometimes, and sometimes it's barely in the top 10. It's about opportunities for growth, opportunities to travel, time off with family, and I'm sure training is probably one of the big issues. Is a company gonna provide me with training? Am I gonna grow professionally? Is that some of the reasons that it addresses?
Well, it is, and actually, indirectly, it's also one of the reasons they leave is the lack of decision-making power, because their employees haven't allowed them the freedom to make suggestions and decisions. They haven't given them the coaching and feedback that they need for them to be able to improve their performance, and that's something that you can certainly help with the training.
Right.
Also, one of the large reasons is management lacks people skills. Train your managers, teach them how to deal with their employees, and too few growth opportunities. The employers don't find ways to help their employees develop new skills and responsibilities in their current positions.
Again, directly related to training, right?
Yep. And loss of faith and confidence in corporate leaders. Whereas employees are sitting there thinking competitive wages, employees are thinking bonuses, stock options, and creative development opportunities. Once again, getting that training. And
again, I think that really kind of touches on on leadership. And Bob, again, over the last couple of years, leadership training, leadership skills, that's a big issue today, isn't it?
Yes, management and supervision is huge, and it was touched in all of those descriptions right there. If nobody likes working for somebody who can't make a decision on their own, or makes wrong decisions all the time, or doesn't lead in the right direction, it affects the whole team underneath them. So I go back to the coaching world. There's coaches that people enjoy playing for, and then there's coaches that people don't enjoy playing for. And you get more out of your employees if they enjoy working for you, and they know that you're honest and you are leading in the right direction. So a lot of times you've got to train the managers and the supervisors first, and then once we have them under control and skilled, then we can go in and train the employees themselves.
Now, Bob, you touched on this a little earlier, but I want you to kind of again give a little explanation on it. Now, CCTI, because this is an important point with CCTI, and we talked about this even as late as this morning. But you deploy this training in multiple ways. You do it through open enrollment, you do it through customized, you do it through e-learning. Just briefly go over again those. How can a person get involved and get some training?
Hopefully, our best way is if your managers and your supervisors commit to it and make that commitment to the employees, then we can set up the customized classes. Those are the best. All right. Then we can sit down with the HR supervisor, the VP, and we can discuss what problems are you having, and we come up with solutions on how we can solve those problems.
So basically what you do is go back in the days when I was owned and operated my business. I would have come to you and I would have said, Bob, I want to do some customer service and management and supervision training, and you would have developed the course, the curriculum. You would have hired the instructor.
Exactly. We get your input. You tell us what you're looking for, and then we go above and beyond, of course, what you're looking for, and then we're able to do it at your place. We can do it after hours. We can do around shift changes. We can do it on weekends or evenings, so it doesn't bother change the productivity of your employees, and we can come in and get it done.
Okay.
And a lot of times we like to discuss some of the topics. We think that you should be forward thinking. You should be thinking ahead. Sometimes you need the training before you think you need the training. For instance, the harassment in the workplace and some of the other issues.
I like when you. Well, it's sort of the same advice. I love Jack's advice from the SBDC. Jack always says, don't wait to come to the SBDC when after the checking account's empty. Let us start working with you now.
Sure.
And same theory with you, Bob. Don't wait until after you've had all kinds of problems and diversity or harassment or something like that, let's think ahead. Let's do some training early on. And
let's eliminate problems before they even occur, because they'll cost
point.
You more money waiting until they've already
Are there
occurred.
like trade organizations that can almost help you guys a little bit that, really, kind of drill down to the individual businesses that might be able to give you even more information on the business?
Well,
help
we
them
at the
train?
at the SBDC, of course, one of the things I always stress is the SBDC has access to databases of different industries. Is that kind of what you're?
Yeah,
absolutely. We have access to databases that allow us to drill down into specific industries that could give us demographic information,
Yeah, that's what I was
financial
thinking.
ratio information. Absolutely. So those resources are there, and I tell folks all the time too. If you were to have to go out and find those resources or pay for those resources on your own, going to be expensive, but through the EDI, through the CCTI, and through the SBDC, those resources are provided at no cost.
That's great.
So absolutely, you could drill down into certain industries and get that kind of information. So, Bob, that's customized training. And I guess while we're talking about the customized, very quickly, how quickly could you respond to customized training? Is that an element of the program? Your ability to respond,
Sure. These classes, we could put together a class and start training in 3 weeks.
Okay.
Just
Wow, that's
we have
great.
a pool of instructors that we would go to. Once we've met with the client and figured out what they want and when they want it, then we go to our instructors and find out the availability. Now, our instructors most of them are currently employed and working. They have their own full-time jobs,
Right.
and some of them more flexible than others, and we're able to
Right.
to
you
get them
But you could
scheduled.
respond quickly to a
Yes,
customized.
we can get in and
Right.
get it going in no time.
And then talk about that's customized, and then you also offer all the training. You talk about, you always say the same great topics through open enrollment. So kind of explain the open enrollment.
The
process.
open enrollment, some of our topics that we do open enrollment on right now are computer training. We all think we know how to use Microsoft Word, how to use Microsoft Excel, how to
I
use
admit,
PowerPoint.
I don't know.
How to use Access. I mean, those are Microsoft products have been around a while, and we kind of learn on the job with
Right.
those. So when I'll sit in on some of the training, and the first thing we ever hear, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could do that. Wow, that's going to make my job easier. There's shortcuts here, and there's better ways to do it. And we always tell people, you don't know what you don't know. And if you think you're good in Word, you can be better in Word.
Right.
And if you think you're good in Excel, and we use Excel every day, creating spreadsheets and making flyers or making forms
Right.
more efficient, especially when it's dealing with numbers and formulas and stuff. And we're still forever learning different things. So I'll sit in on a class, and every chance I get, and I learn something every single time, whether I'm just sitting there for 30 minutes or able to do more. So computer training is one of the easy ones that we can do open enrollment on. So we do that. We set up, we have some 9-hour and 12-hour classes for Excel is the most
And
popular.
open enrollment basically means that everyone can sign up.
Right.
You've designated the time and the location, but anyone can go on. A one person or a group
Yeah.
of 5 can go on.
We'll
and
have a
sign up.
company call us and say we've got 5 people that need to do it. Well, that's not enough for a customized class,
Right.
but it's definitely enough to put into our open enrollment class. So there may be 5 from one company, 4 from another company,
Right.
and then 3 or 4 individuals, and all of a sudden we've got a nice Excel class that meets. So, and we do these. We schedule these on a semesterly basis, even though we don't run by the semesters.
Right.
In the CCTI, we'll do a series of computer classes starting in January. We'll do another series starting in May, and then we'll do another series starting in August. So we kind of follow the college
Right.
series.
And open
that way.
enrollment's pretty straightforward. You simply go to the irscbiz.com site, pick the class you want to go to, click on registration, and you can register right there online.
Yes, we've got a great website. It took us several years to get it the way we want it. We were actually one of the this website developer used us as their guinea pig, and we were able to help them design it. So this website is designed just for us, to be able to go in and post a schedule where the viewers can look and see what's coming up, click on the class and be able to pay with a credit card right there and then,
Right.
be able to get all the information they want, be able to sign up for to join our mailing list so we can send out reminders to them on what topics are coming up, and
Right.
it's a self-supporting website. It's a great website. It's irscbiz.com,
Right.
and you can go in there and see all of our classes that are scheduled. I'm looking at it right now, and there's about 15 to 20 options already for July,
Right.
and many of them are run through the CCTI. We also have some other classes on there that the SBDC puts together. So go in and take a look, and you'll run into some topics that you didn't know we had. And remember, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And social media is the other topic that we're able to do open enrollment classes for as well. And but these top 10 topics that Susie was just talking about, we can get together and put together maybe the top 3. We can put together customer service, a sales, and dealing with difficult people package.
Right.
And we can set these up on Tuesday nights throughout the semester and offer those to the folks that don't have 10 or more employees. I've only got 1 or 2 employees that I'd like to send to that. Well, that's great. So take a look at our open enrollment schedule, sign up. It's the same topics and same stuff that we give to the corporate side.
And classes are available all campuses. I mean, from time to time, all of these are offered across all 5 campuses.
We offer most of our open enrollment classes are at the Fort Pierce main campus. It's the most centrally located one.
Right.
It's easy for Vero and Martin County folks to get to the Fort Pierce campus. We will be moving into the Pruitt campus at St. Lucie West, and we will be offering some classes there as well.
Okay.
So most of them are done at the main campus, but we do branch some topics out to the other campuses.
All right. Well, with that, again, I always appreciate having Bob and his group from the CCTI on the show to talk about training, an important issue. So we appreciate you guys, Susie and Bob, coming on tonight, and remind everyone that all the programs we discussed tonight are available through the Dan K. Richardson Entrepreneurship Development Institute right here at Indian River State College. For more information, as Bob told you, it's irscbiz.com. So with that, we'll bring another segment of Startup Talk to a close. I want to thank Greg and our partners here at WPSL, WSTU. Thank the SBDC and Michelle Abaldo and her team at the Office of Institutional Advancement. And with that, we will talk to you next week on Startup Talk.
This is WPSL, Port St. Lucie. WSTU, Stewart.